Hello, my name is Paul. Today we're going to be talking about God's commandments and how it relates to us today. I'm going to show you today that by keeping God's commandments is the best cure for the disease. The question has to be asked, is it better to find a cure for disease and cancer and stroke, or is it better to have a prevention so you don't get sick? The answer is you're better off having a prevention so you don't get sick in the first place. Here in Exodus 15:26 it says, "And if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and will do which is right in his sight, and give ear to his commandments, and keep all of his statutes, I will put none of the diseases upon thee which I have brought upon the Egyptians. For I am the Lord that healeth thee." What Exodus 15:26 says, if you obey God, you won't get sick. You won't get heart attack, disease, or STDs, anything like that. It's the only reason we get sick today is because we've committed a violation against God's commandments. That's what it's all about. As we see here in creation, the Most High was right. When Adam and Eve ate from their fruit trees, there was no pesticides to kill the insects. There was no DNA killing chemicals on their food. There was no preservatives to kill the bacteria either. So Adam and Eve had it all right in creation. There was no sleeping around, so there was only feelings for each other. Everything was right in creation. And yet we today have stuffed this world up because we don't keep God's commandments from creation. So we see the Most High was right in creation. In creation there was no sickness, there was no disease. Disease was always a violation of keeping the Most High's commandments. I'll put it this way. If you don't eat, the reason we've got so much cancer today is because we're eating a lot of preservatives which kill bacteria. Those preservatives they put on your food actually are DNA killing chemicals. So are the pesticides they put on your food to kill the insects. We're eating a lot of chemicals in our food today. We've also got smoking, which is a man-made tradition, drinking, which is man-made alcohol, and we've also got asbestos buildings, which actually are man-made. Everything that God, the Most High, had in creation was not harmful to us. It was actually for the beneficial of us. If we had kept God's commandments, we wouldn't have all these diseases today. HIV, AIDS, and STDs are a direct result of having sex outside marriage with multiple partners. So really, if everybody in the world today kept the commandments of God, didn't commit adultery, everybody who's got AIDS would die from at least natural death over their lifetime, and when they die, they wouldn't pass the disease on. But today, when you sleep around with more than one person, you're spreading STDs because you're not breaking God's commandments. That's why STDs are on the rise. That's why a lot of people got STDs. But don't get it because they're keeping God's commandments. They get it because they're having sexual intercourse outside marriage. That's the reason why. Again, it goes back to God's commandments. If we kept God's commandments in this world today, we wouldn't get sick. That is the reason why. And if England have kept God's commandments on the unclean meat laws and not fed the cows grass and not meat, then there will be no cow disease in England. The reason we got mad cow disease in Great Britain is because Great Britain broke God's dietary laws on the unclean meat. They fed the cows meat and the cows did not chew the grass. That was England's fault. If England had kept God's commandments, there would never have been mad cow disease. It was a direct violation of God's commandments. So ignorance is not bliss. The reason people get sick today is because they're not keeping God's commandments. Obviously, put chemicals on your food. You might not know that the chemicals on your food, the preservatives and the pesticides, are actually going to give you cancer. You might get cancer from eating the chemicals on your food, the preservatives and pesticides. It may not be your fault, but you still have to deal with the sickness. It's a direct result of somebody breaking God's commandments. It goes through the chemicals in your food, whether it be smoking, drinking, asbestos houses, whatever the problem is, it's their own fault. STDs are spreading like HIV. People get AIDS because people are sleeping around. We've got to start keeping God's commandments. It's a direct result of a violation of God's commandments. And that's the reason why so many people get sick today. Again, the Sabbath, the fourth commandment says, 6 days thou shalt work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. So in the seventh day, you need the seventh day off so you can spend time with your family, your friends, and actually spend time in your marriage so your marriage doesn't break down. This is why the Sabbath was given. It's a day of rest for all people. And today, people are working 7 days a week, not having any time to spend with their partner or their kids because we're not keeping God's commandments. It's affecting their ability to love their partner and their children. So we need the Sabbath to keep ourselves refreshed, so we get time to spend with our wife and our kids. You need a day just to spend as a family. You need a day to go to worship so you can see all your other mates and all your brothers in Christ. That's what the Sabbath is for. It's not a day of doing nothing. It's a day of spending time with other people. This is why it says in the end times, we'll preach the Sabbath better. And today, as a fifth angel, I'm going to show you how to do it better. The Sabbath is not a day of doing nothing. It's a time of celebration as a family, as the Most High as a father, and we as his children spending time as a family. You have to remember in creation, there was no churches, there was no Bible. The original design of creation was Sabbath was everyone. It's a day of everyone gets together and spends it to communicate. So some things you can do on the Sabbath, like swimming and going to the beach, while other things you can't do. Wherever takes your focus away from the Most High and other people, shouldn't be done on the Sabbath. So keeping God's commandments is about happiness. It's always been that way. It's about blessings. So when you keep the most of those blessings, you'll actually benefit. You won't get cancer, you won't get sickness, you won't get heart stroke because you've eaten too much cholesterol in your meat diet. It's always about blessings. Obviously, the Most High will bless you too with rain, with bless your children, bless your crops. The Most High will bless you as well for keeping His commandments. It's always back from original design and creation. Today, obviously too, as I showed you, the Sabbath message is about helping people. It's about 6 days they work, and the 7th day we worship together as a family. So with Mrs. White in her time, she said we should have health retreats everywhere. That was for her time because back then there wasn't 7-day Adventist churches everywhere. Today we've got 7-day Adventist churches everywhere. We should use the 7-day Adventist churches as health retreats. So if someone's got cancer, they can go into the 7-day Adventist church and they can get the knowledge to help them beat their cancer or beat their heart, or maybe they've got a weak heart, maybe they've got problems with a wife, marriage problems, maybe they've got problems with the children raising them. And we can actually help them, get them on the right diet. We can help them mediation between them and their partner. Maybe they've got problems with a friend and they need mediation. That's what we should be doing for churches. The churches should be open 7 days a week, 6 days to help people at after 6 p.m. weekdays, to help people on the 7th day of the week as a day of worship. And if someone needs help on the Sabbath, we help them as well. Because remember, Yahweh Shai heal people on the Sabbath. We can heal people on the Sabbath. The church should be having lots of literature and from the spirit of prophecy and from the Holy Scriptures to help people get better. So today we don't need to go out buying health retreats everywhere. We can actually use the churches to promote the message and so that the people can help themselves. Mrs. White says it's better to give a person a fishing rod or a fish. A fish may feed them for a day, but a fishing rod will fish them for life. Not saying we should eat meat, but the parable here is we've got the churches out there, we've got the spirit of prophecy. We need to start helping people, get them on the right track in the churches so that if they're sick, they can go to the church and get the help they need. We don't need to, and if they can go to their own house and plant their own fruit trees. That was the way. That's the way which Mrs. White wanted in the beginning. So what I'm going to say to you today, may God be with you, may God bless you, and please don't listen to the lying church pastors. They're lying to you.